Cool, so there's a cool thing where you can... Oh, that's cool. That was a whole music thing. So let's... Okay, let's grab that. Oh. And the camera settings are really slow for some reason. Let's try that. Okay, turn that off. So we have this clip here, which is really rad, but you can keep these notes and change the instrument itself by going into here. Let's say we want a guitar sound. So if I just drag it onto there, you see it starts kind of throbbing bigger. So if I drag this over the other instrument, then drop it, then now it's that new instrument, but we have the same notes. So I can play it. Ah, there's some hidden notes up there. I was wondering what was going on there. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So what you can do, if you feel so inclined, is just start... let's just undo that. Is just start replacing... Oh. What you can do is you can start replacing whole things. So do that, and then like copy it as normal, L1 and R2, over the other things. And maybe we want to change the other one as well for a bass. And now let's see what it sounds like. Oh! And now it's instantly something out of Stranger Things. Another thing is the tempo when it's in a timeline. So I think we lost that other one, so let's get another instrument again. Cool. Okay, so we looked at how when this is playing, let's make it loop. Oh, it's got a big gap at the beginning. Then this affects how fast it goes through. So normally goes at that speed, but you can slow it right down. If it's in a timeline, it uses the tempo of the timeline, or it kind of inherits it. So it's at 100%. If we let's make a better example. Right, let's put a better but less good sounding example. That's what I prefer. So that's playing kind of every beat. And you can see if you zoom in here and we put that on loop, that it's playing every beat like that on the beat. If we make that less, then if you make that 50% actually, then now it's taking 2 of those beats to play 1 note, as you might expect, because it's playing half the speed. If you do that on here though, it will also play that slower speed. Because things within this timeline will kind of have their speed multiplied by that. So it'll be 100% times a half, so it will be playing at half speed. But you might have like different weird tempos going on. So this is pretty cool because you can just import a track. Go here. And do that. And just speed up the whole thing with this because everything will play faster. But it won't affect like what audio sounds like. So if I put that to 100%, and speed up, they sound like the same notes are being played, but they're just the speed of when the notes start is kind of sped up by the tempo of the timeline. Cool. Makes sense. And the last thing is if you have one of these. Okay, and we'll just put it on that. Turn off that. Yeah, and then we change the pitch. You can actually see it's playing that whole thing slower, the whole sample. So it's not just pitching it down, but it's actually playing the sample slower. So that's something to be aware of if you're trying to if you have the sound of a voice recording or something, and you want it to sound more bassy, don't just pitch it down because that can like mess with stuff. Unless I think if you turn that very speed off. Yeah, now it's the same speed, but it kind of sounds all choppy because it's actually kind of faking it as best it can. And one little thing, I'll delete that. If I go into the piano roll view, so this isn't in a timeline, it's just out in the world, but it still has its own like tempo and things. And it still has its own settings for these bars. So if you go to the options tab at the end, you can you've got the meter numerator and the meter denominator. So this is how many. So this is how big each step is, how big each beat is. So that would be a quarter note, eighth note, and you can see they take up half the space. So if I put that back to 2, put it to 1, you can see it looks like it's just doubling up because each of these denominations is a smaller period of time. But then you can say how many are in a bar. So now you can have 6 quarter notes in one bar, and so on. It goes through like that. If you put it onto a timeline, that has the similar options in here. You've got the how many's in a bar and how long each beat is. I drag that onto there. So it kind of, is that working? Yeah. Yeah, so when it's out here, if I just make it really obvious. So the bar goes all the way over to there. If I drag it in here, then now you've got 4 bars in that space because it uses the timeline's meter notation. instead.